Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Punt Situation with
How's it going, Scott?
Doing great, Polk. NFL is here. Week one. Got my Cowboy jersey on. I'm excited. What about you, buddy?
Hey,
Oh, the
I'm
Texas
excited. Great
Longhorns,
football.
boy.
That's
Whew.
it. Good football yesterday. We watched the Longhorns beat Alabama. That was a great game. A&M lost, so that was unfortunate, and Baylor took that L. But otherwise, it was some great football, man. Football's done really well. Thursday night kicked it off, and it's been going good since.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about that a little bit with the Thursday night game, some injuries, and our top sit 'em and start 'em for this week. But first, Polk, I want to talk about our new sponsor, Happy Dad. That's right, guys. Happy Dad Hard Seltzer is our new sponsor there. If you guys never heard of them, if you ever heard the Note Boys Full C podcast, they have it on there. That's their brand, and we are happy to have them on there. Give you a little story about them real quick. Happy Dad's a easy drink hard seltzer, and you guys, oh my God, there's another seltzer. What makes them so different? Well, the difference between Happy Dad is got low carbonation, simple, refreshing flavors. They got fruit punch, Death Row Grape collaboration with Snoop Dogg, watermelon, pineapple, lemon lime, wild cherry, and their new one, banana. That's right, banana. All right, so that's all about, man. Like a hot day, like in Texas right now, man. Have a Happy Dad with, have a drink with it, and it's so great. And the thing about Happy Dad, it's got low sugar, 2% sugar. It's vegan friendly, and the best thing about it is it's got electrolytes in it. So, in 100 calories, you can't beat that. So, go to your local specs here in Texas. If you don't have in Texas, go to Happy Dad website. Said, hey, I want Happy Dad. I heard it here on Punt Situation. Heard it on Full C podcast. Go get you some.
That sounds really good. Hey, Scott, what about Happy Mom? Raspberry
That's
Happy Mom.
That's right, guys. Moms, they do have a Happy Mom raspberry. It's refreshing, cool, crisp. And ladies love it. So go out there, get you some Happy Mom for your NFL games today. Polk, let's talk about.
That's great, man.
Yeah, Polk, let's talk about the Thursday night game with Kansas City and Detroit with a big upset. Detroit beating Kansas City 21-20. Polk, you think Patrick Mahomes missed Travis Kelce there?
I think he did. Gray stepped up and did really well, played some good football, but Kels, that security blanket, I think he would have went to on a couple of those third downs. They would have been able to possibly convert. Great game of football. I'm super happy for Detroit. They started off in the right direction this year, after ending so well last year. So, Amon-Ra St. Brown got him a touchdown.
He's an automatic.
And I think – yeah, and I think we're going to see more Gibbs. They said that he was on a little bit of a snap count just to introduce him to the NFL. So, if you are owner in fantasy, be happy. It wasn't a great start, wasn't a great stat line, but you're just going to see more of that. And from the flashes he showed, you did good. So
yeah, and especially also David Montgomery, he did really well as well. Got 78 yards. Got some fantasy points in there, but also want to talk about the concerns of the Kansas City wide receiver core. Patrick Mahomes threw 11 different targets, but there was 8 drops, especially 2 big ones by Kadarius Toney. And Polk and I have talked about it last year and this year. Don't draft this guy. Don't draft this guy. He's a home run. He's a home run thing. He gets one pass, he's gone. But he's not consistent. He wasn't consistent in college. He's not consistent now. He wasn't consistent with the Giants. He's hurt. He's never consistent catching the ball. He has a big problem dropping the ball. And I think Kansas City realized with their wide receiver core, they need help. Polk?
Yeah, well, that's kind of been ever since Hill left. They don't have that guy, right? You can fill it in the void with Kels to an extent because Kels is just that good. But they brought in Scantling, they brought in Juju, and Juju's gone now; he's departed. They brought in Tooney. Sky Moore, Mecole Hardman they drafted. None of these guys have really panned out to what they need. None of them's worked out like they did, like Hill did. So they've just kind of been patching the leak, and it's like instead of, you got a boat and it's got some holes in it and it's slowly sinking. And instead of, getting down there and actually doing some work and patching it, they're just throwing duct tape on it. And that's going to work for a little bit, but you're going to have those to where these, like Thursday night, you get Tooney and he drops the ball consistently, calls the interception. I sent that picture to my wife, my wife watches some football, but, she didn't understand how, the ball hit his hands and it's a beautiful picture. It's in his hands and how that play was an interception. I wish I could pull it up to show you guys, but you should look it up, that interception, because it can't be better placement.
Agreed.
So, that patchwork, and you got a great quarterback, but that's what a lot of teams do. You pay that man and you can't pay the rest of them. And this is what you get, you get B receivers.
Agreed. Paul, I want to talk a little bit about Detroit. Are these guys for real this year? I mean, have you seen the change from last year to this year? Josh Reynolds, he got 7 targets for 4 catches to 80 yards. He looked great. The rookie tight end, he got almost 9 points of fantasy points. He's got 5 targets for 5 catches for 39 yards. What did you see out of Sam Laporta? What did you see out of Amon-Ra St. Brown? I mean, Kansas City kind of shut him down in the second half, but what do you like about this Detroit offense and their defense? Have really stepped up. Hutchinson looked really good on their defensive line, getting pressure to, the Patrick Mahomes. What do you think about all that, Polk?
Well, and that's one thing we tend to forget is Detroit they finished their season really strong last year. I think they won 6 of their last 7 games or whatever. So they're a team coming off, they got behind the coach and they've added some more pieces. Hutchinson looked really good, Thursday night, and still was able to get back there. I don't know. They mentioned it during the game. I don't know if some of y'all missed a lot more if the tackle wasn't lining up off sides. He was supposed to the helmet's supposed to meet that wasn't. He was starting off way far back just to be able to slow Hutchinson down. So they're going to catch on to that. The line. Hopefully they'll review the tape and catch on to that, and other teams won't be able to do that. He's got a quick start. He's got a real high motor. So I'm excited to what that Detroit line's going to do, that D-line. But they're playing great football. They got some great pieces. Amon-Ra, I think, is a great player. They were able to complement him well with, Khalif, Raymond, and a few others. And then I love the options they have out of the backfield. They can actually really threaten the run. They got their bruiser with Montgomery and Gibbs look great. So I'm really excited to see what they can do this year. And like I said, they kind of continued that success from last year, and Detroit seems to be a different team. It's not the same old Detroit that was getting kicked around the league.
Yeah, I agree.
The last 20 years. So.
You think they have a chance to win the division this year?
I think they do. Man, the Packers, I don't know that they look so well. And then you got the Bears. I don't think they have any of the pieces that they need. And unfortunately, this is my opinion, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. But I don't think their quarterback's where it's at. And then you got the Vikings, right? So Justin Jefferson looks real good, but now how's that run game going to stack up? Because they've always done real well leading off with that run and maybe running some play action, getting Jefferson in space. As soon as teams decide to try to cook the party, now can Alexander Madison really carry that load? And I think he's hurt, so it's just worrisome, right? They lost some pieces. Addison, if they can get him, then that might be okay. But I don't know. I think it's really anybody's division, and right now, from from last year coming into this year, and the piece that's changed. But we'll see today.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, Polk, we're gonna do our top 3 starts and top 3 sit-ems. So
Let's hey, you want to cover injuries real quick? Just a couple guys that's going to be out.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's start one with Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is out. He is not playing, so get him out of your lineup. Try to find a tight end. If you're looking for a tight end, if he's in your waivers, I will try to pick up Tyler Higbee today with Cooper Kupp being out. So he'd be a good pickup for you there.
Yeah, Isaiah Likely is also I don't know if y'all know him from last year. He had that fantastic preseason run. He's just behind Mark Andrews. Reason he hadn't been able to get on the field, but he'll be a good fill-in, I think. And has decent speed. And then Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys might be another option that y'all could look at.
Yeah.
And then if Cole Kmet, he might be just someone you can use for the week to fill in. So those are a couple other guys.
And also you could also pick up Green Bay's tight end Luke Musgrove. Look for Jordan Love using him a lot today as well. With possibly Christian Washington may be out yet. So that might be a good pickup as well.
Yep. Cool. And then so we got a couple other guys, obviously don't start Jonathan Taylor, but he may some good news for the owners out. Is physical today and maybe ready to start week 5. So at least it's the question is he going to play this year? Is he not going to play? It looks like he's going to try to play. I think he's just going to try to get through this year with the Colts. So I don't know that a trade, it could still happen, but I don't see one happening. But at least that you didn't waste that draft pick, right? Because I'm right there with you guys. I got him in the 3rd round, and we had to draft early because of schedules and stuff, and so I'm right there with you, man. Yeah. So at least it's not Cooper Kupp, right?
Right. Well, Cooper Kupp. And speaking of Cooper Kupp, he could be out till week 4, coming back maybe week 5. If you guys are worried and you want to do a trade and somebody wants him, make sure you get a good player for him. Don't settle for something average.
Yes, from what I understand, Kupp got IR'd, so it will be week 5 before he comes back.
So and then you heard it from there. So if you guys want to trade for him, get somebody decent. Don't settle for 2 average wide receivers and go from there. Don't panic. Cooper Kupp will be back. It's just that lingering hamstring is hurting him right now. So just be careful. Hopefully you got somebody good in your lineup sitting there. If you got Mike Williams this week, if you have him there, I'd play him this week. Keenan Allen, those guys like there. Make possible Quentin Johnson on your flex. I would go there on your wide receiver, Jahan Dotson. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals. Scary Terry. He would be great to have on your bench. So don't panic. It's just week 1. But if you need a trade, make sure you do a good trade and not get 2 average people for the price of 1 there.
Okay, cool.
Any more?
Couple guys that. Yeah, I'm gonna run through a couple guys that just that may play today that were kind of on those injury reports, those initial injury reports. Keep in mind that if anything happens, they like to put them on there just in case. Romeo Doubs expected to play, so if you have him, still don't start him because I don't think he's going to be very good. Darren Waller, he's actually expected to play, so he had a hamstring injury. It doesn't appear to be too serious, and that's really good for Giants fans, Danny Dime owners, because they don't have any other options. And I think Waller can be that guy. I think he should, if he stays healthy. Should be a great fantasy option. He was kind of a guy I was looking for. Fantasy drafts wasn't able to ever, secure that. But just other receivers, Waller can be the best receiver on that team. as a tight end. So Devontae Parker for the Patriots, not expected injury. Hollywood Brown's actually expected to play, but don't start him because they don't have a quarterback throwing him the ball. So everybody else, I don't think he has a very successful day. He's kind of the Cardinals. Just hopefully you don't have any fantasy stock or drafting them. Maybe that kicker. I don't know. Mark, we talked about it. Mark Andrews is not going to play. Ramondre Stevenson, who was sick this week, he's actually expected to play. I'm going to be honest, guys. Anybody that has the flu, any player that ever has the flu, I'm going to start them because we've seen some of the best football.
Exactly, 100%. I was going to go to mention that. I totally agree with you. Every time these guys are sick, they got the flu, they got COVID, or they got something, they come back the next week and they dominate. Like 100%.
It's like 200 yards, 4 touchdowns type stuff.
I got Ramon Stevenson. I'm waiting for it. I'm ready for him. Don't worry about Zeke, guys.
Just look it up, man.
Don't worry about Zeke.
Yeah, I would worry about Zeke in the red zone or the green zone, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Ramondre should be good to go. Kendra Miller not expected to play, Saints rookie. So it is going to be Williams. Williams going to be all day over there. So now going against a pretty stout Titans defense. So, I wouldn't start him over one of your top guys, but definitely a great feeling, especially, if you had drafted Jonathan Taylor like I did and need him to start for the first 4 weeks. So, Adam Thielen's actually expected to play. He had an ankle injury. I don't know if y'all remember, like week 2 of the preseason. He's actually expected to play. Guys, he's old, but from what I'm hearing coming out of camp, he's the
best wide receiver.
Bryce Young's favorite target. So when they were comparing targets in camp, it was like 9 receptions compared to like 2 and 3 for. I think he might be a nice little steal this year, especially in those PPRs. So if he is on the waiver for some crazy reason, you might. I always have that one spot on my roster. It's kind of one of those hopefuls, right? And I can kind of interchange, if they're not working out. So, Saints rookie, Kenny McIntosh, he's placed on IR. We knew that he didn't really have a chance with Zach Charbonnet. And now Walker's looking really healthy. I see it as kind of a timeshare today out of those two. But, no one else in that running back room I'm going to have until someone goes down for injury. Zach Moss is definitely going to miss. We knew that, he had a possibility of playing with that broken forearm, but it's not going to be this week. And then we got Breece Hall, who is going to play today. He fully practiced. Temper your expectations. He's coming off that injury. I know he's looked real good. But they brought in Cook for a reason, so I think they're gonna lean on both of those, and you're gonna lean on Cook a little bit more because he's a little bit cheaper, and you don't need him as long, especially at the beginning of the season, the start of the season. Towards the end, I think Hall is going to take over because he is the better back. He's young, he's fast, he's good, but right now you just don't want to put too much on his plate, obviously because he's coming off of that injury. So, and then we talked about Kupp going on IR. And then Jamison Crowder made the roster for the Commanders, but I really, until I see that quarterback, Howell, throw the ball, I'm kind of hesitant to start anybody. I don't know, how the connections look. You got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson ahead of him anyway. So, and then, Javonte Williams, I feel the same way I do about Breece Hall. Temporary expectations, he's coming off this major injury. Sure, he's looked great in camp. But you don't want to get him out there and re-injure it, re-aggravate it, and it mess up your entire season. So you're going to limit his carries. You're going to limit everything and kind of lean on everybody else until midway through that season when you really need him and you really can put that pressure on that knee, So, but all right, I think that covers just about everybody, that kind of showed up on these reports.
Okay.
So,
yeah, guys, make sure here within the next 40 minutes. Make sure you keep checking on keep checking on your lineups and everything. Make sure they're ready to play. And If they're not, get them out quick. Substitute.
That's a great point.
All right, Paul.
That's a great point, Scott. Real quick, let me reiterate, guys. It comes down to the wire. These guys could slip on a Coke can on the way into the stadium and break their ankle. So just check before that noon kickoff. I know your time zone, right? It's noon where we're at, but in Cali it's a little bit different. New York it's a little bit different. Check on that stuff before that kickoff. Make sure everything's good to go. Like he said, anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys.
All right, Scott.
Well, we're going to start our stardoms. Polk, start off, and who's going to be your number one guy that you're definitely going to start if you had him in your lineup?
Well, one of the guys I'm really looking at is going to be Lamar Jackson. They're playing a terrible team in the Texans. Sorry, Texans. Houston. But you know it, I know it. Y'all were able to draft some guys, and I think y'all are going to look a little bit better. But Lamar Jackson, he's just different, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be able to take advantage of the matchup. He don't have Mark Andrews. They don't really need him. Beckham, I know that he popped up on the injury reports, but I'm not so worried about him. I think, it's still going to be a easy game in terms of points and stuff. Houston does have they had some good takeaways last year in that defense, but I just don't think they're going to. I think he's a pretty shoe-in for that start spot.
Agreed. My QB pick for this week is going to be Derek Carr. They're playing the Tennessee Titans. The Titans corners are just terrible. They were ranked last year, dead last. He's in a new team this year. He's got Chris Olave, Johan Dotson, Mike Thomas for the first time. He's healthy in 2 years. I expect him to throw it out, launch it, have a great game. He doesn't have a running game. Alvin Kamara is out. He does have Jamal Williams over there, so you're going to see him probably passing to him a little bit as well. So look for Derek Carr to have a great game this week. Well, who do you have for your running back?
All right, we're going to go to the game tonight. I think Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's going to have a great day. The Giants still really didn't fix anything. They kind of threw some plugs in those holes, but Darren Waller didn't fix the defense, and the defense was still not very good last year. I think Tony Pollard should have a really good day. I think that the offense, this is just my opinion, but we're going to kind of lead for the Cowboys, going to kind of lean on that run attack and keep it out of Dak's hands. But Tony Pollard's electric, and you get the ball in his hand, especially if we take an early lead. We're going to kind of, we're going to see Pollard. But, Pollard I think he's going to be easy start. He's going to have a good day.
I agree with you there. So my pick for running back this week is J.K. Dobbins. Again, they're playing the Houston Texans with their tight end being out, Mark Andrews. I think they're going to rely a little bit on the run game, just a little bit more. Dobbins is going to have he looked great at the end of the year coming off his injury. He's fully 100%. There has been no nagging injuries with this guy this year. I think he's going to come out of the gates and just blow Texas away. I'm going to slow him down a little bit, and then you're going to start seeing that passing game with a little bit with Lamar Jackson and getting Zay Flowers going and everything. But expect J.K. Dobbins to have a big game today. I'm seeing him getting 100 yards. Polk, who's your wide receiver?
Really?
Yeah. Really?
Dobbins? Crazy. So with the wide receiver, I've kind of got. Sorry, I like giving Scott a hard. I don't want to disagree, but also I do not agree. Love him to death, man. No, the only concern with Dobbins, everything, right? The injuries, the contracts, the whole preseason not really playing. I could really see them just saying, "Shut up, sit down." Same guy, But he wanted a contract. He's only played like 10 something crazy, like 14 games or something. I don't know, man. He don't deserve anything.
That just gives him the more proof. That gives him the more proof to go out there and show him up and say, "Hey, give me my money. Give me my money." He's going to do the Johnny Manziel thing and like, "Give me my money. Look what I did today. This is what he's going to do today. I guarantee he's going to get you 100 yards today."
Okay. Well, right on. Hey, so this last guy, I'm not really a huge fan of. I don't think he's going to have a very good season. I don't think he just hadn't played football in a couple of years. But I do like the Ridley over in Indianapolis. Indy's got a rookie quarterback. They've got their running back's not there, so they're kind of patchworking with these guys. So I don't think the offense can really. What that does is that's going to put the ball over there in Jacksonville's hands. If we know anything from Jacksonville, they like to give Trevor Lawrence the ball. Trevor Lawrence so I think his new choice, Calvin Ridley, and if we're looking at tape from practice stuff, Ridley's quick. Ridley is a different kind of speed, and I think Ridley, is just going to be able to. They're going to move him all around the field and be able to get him open and get him in space, and if he's the type of player that can take a to the house because he's got that speed. He's a big guy, so as long as he still knows how to play football, I think he's going to be a great option today, a great start for y'all. So if you were worried about, him or something like that, I really think Ridley will be a pretty good start. So I'm not saying Denver, Sean Payton, they're going to be a little bit more stingy this year, I think. So
100%, I agree with you on that. So my pick over here for this week, I was going with two players, but I decided to go with Jahan Dotson this week. I mean, they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. As Polk mentioned earlier, they're dumpster fire. They don't have anything on the offensive side. Well, their defense is not even better. Scary Terry had an nagging injury this week. He is expected to play, but John Dotson looks like he's fully healthy. I think he's going to be a big target for today's game, and put him in your lineup. He's going to get you what you need today on fantasy points. Sam Howell looks great. They have a great connection going on with both wide receivers. Ron Rivera was happy with Sam Howell. He's happy with his wide receiver core. So expect the Commanders to have a great game.
So I got a question about that. Does anybody look good after a season with Wentz?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying,
100%. I mean, how I feel about Wentz. I can't stand him. Yeah, I mean, anybody looks
like
good.
That new car smell,
Yeah.
You love it. The day one, you're like, this is the best thing I ever did. Got rid of that old hoopty.
Yeah.
About a month in, you're like, God dang it, it's the same car, just different color.
Oh man, I agree. You're right. You're 100% correct, man. Oh man, the Commanders, man, it's been rough for them for the past few years, that's for sure. But they do have
Chase Young is going to be. He's out. So
yeah. I just don't think Chase Young is going to be there here pretty soon. They might trade for him. They might let him go. He keeps getting hurt.
Exactly. He's got talent, but he can't stay on the field, man. That's rough. That's rough for, as an organization, you go and you spend that draft capital on a guy, and he could do it, but he can't, if he's not playing games, he ain't doing anything for the team.
Exactly. So all right, Polk, let's talk about our sit-ins there. Who do you got there?
Hold on, let me pull up my list because I went off topic. So obviously Jonathan Taylor, we're going to sit him this week. I just don't think he's going to get very many touches. I actually don't think he's going to get very many touches the first four. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. He's not going to get very many touches the first 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I really worry about him. If you can't tell, I'm trying to get to the list. I'm just kind of filling it in.
Oh
So
my God, should have
Rashad
that
Penny, we're not
ready.
going to start him today. J.K. Dobbins, a terrible start.
Wow. Well, whatever.
Uh,
Whatever.
no, so we're talking. What are we talking about? Quarterbacks.
Yeah, quarterbacks.
Obviously, Dodds. Is it Dodds?
Dobbs, yeah. Dobbs,
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs, yeah.
Dobbs.
I mean, you
Okay.
should not even have
Josh
him in your
Dobbs.
lineup.
Yeah. So that's the
You
guy
shouldn't
that
even
we're
have him
not
in
starting
lineup.
this week for quarterback. Don't do it. Connor. No. So we'll start it off. Watson. Watson's a guy that I'm not looking forward to starting. Cincinnati's coming off of a big season. I think they're pretty solid. They play football when it counts, right? So I still haven't seen from what Watson was able to play last year. I still hadn't seen it put it all together and that. But until I see it, I'm kind of worried about starting him. I know that if you don't have any other options, maybe you go get Sam Howell. I don't know, but I worry about him. And until I see it, again, he spent so long out of football. It takes. Because
Right.
most of these guys play from high school to college to they never miss nothing, no serious time like that, and it's in the swing of things and the speed of the game and that connection with his players. So that's a guy I'm not looking forward to. He could have taken this camp and everything real serious and he's ready to play football, but until I see him really play football, and I didn't. Nothing special, right? But he still missed some throws. He still didn't look like the old. I think he's aged a little bit, so he can't run around like he used to. And so he's just a guy I'm not looking forward to starting today.
You agree. All right, so my quarterback pick to sit this week is it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he's playing the defense, different defense over there. Allowed the fifth fewest points last year to quarterbacks. And plus, you got Sean Payton, and he's got something to prove this week over here. He's going to make sure the Raiders are not going to shut down Jimmy G, Devontae Adams. He's got something to prove this week. I just don't see him doing anything special. They're going to bring in the blitzes on him, and they're going to put pressure on him. Just don't start Jimmy G this week. All right, Polk, what do you got for your running back?
Running backs, I got a running back room. Don't start the Chicago running backs. I am not excited. I hadn't seen a guy really take that job. We've got Herbert. Got a lot of guys in that backfield. And until I see one take the lead, and until I see that team make strides, I worry about everybody. That's a running back room that I'm not starting. Hopefully, you have some other options, guys. So you've got Kenneth Walker. Split carries. You got Najee Harris and Warren that's going to split carries. So Warren might be a guy that maybe you can pick up off of waiver wires. So you've got those other options. But I would stay away from anybody right now until Chicago's going to be ready to play some football.
Agreed, 100% there. So we talked about it a little bit today. Breece Hall, he's going to be one. You need to sit him today. I'm sorry, guys. I know you drafted him. I know he's going to be playing today, but you need to set him. You need to find somebody out in your lineup. He's not going to get the full workload. He may get maybe 8 to 10 carries on today's game. He might have a chance to score a touchdown, but what is that risk factor? What if he doesn't? And you wind up getting 2 points. You could have had somebody that was on your bench that could have got you like 6 or 8 or maybe 10 points. Just depends. Again, I just don't see him being a factor today for the Giants and for the Jets today for the Bills game. Bills are going to bring pressure on. They, like Polk said, they're going to ease him back in. He eventually will be the number one starter, but right now it's going to be Dalvin Cook. If you got Dalvin Cook, put him in there. But if you got anybody else, in your flex, move them up. But this week, sit Breece Hall. All right, Polk, who you got for your wide receiver?
Okay. Uh, I was waiting for it, man. You let me. I was worried.
It's like, all right, Bert, do whatever you want to do, bro. Do whatever you want to do.
We're gonna go with the whole Giants. No, that's another one I wouldn't start. But actually, my pick is going to be Hollywood Brown. Again, we've just talked about the concerns. We've seen the video. If you have not, go check out the motivational speech by that coach over there in Arizona. He really gets them going. I would have jumped out a fucking window. Sorry for my language, but if that was my coach, I'd have ejected. I can't play this season. Send me somewhere else. Terrible. But I don't know. Maybe he's maybe he's just great, and maybe he just can't talk. Or some people don't have that public. I don't know, man. Just thinking about it. Anyway, I would not start Hollywood Brown. I'm a little worried since they ejected Colt McCoy. He was the best quarterback option on that team. They got rid of him, and so I don't think they have anybody that can really accurately throw the ball down the field. So it's going to be bad, right? Hollywood Brown's not the greatest receiver anyway. He got ejected from his first team. He had a lot of drops, and maybe he worked on it. Maybe he had 101 jugs catches a day like St. Brown this offseason, and maybe he's better. But it's just a lot of worries in that offense. A lot of worries for that team. There's talk, there's tanking. If there's smoke, there's fire, right, guys? If they are, it's just right now trying to get police, and try to get anything in the world. I'm not betting on Ridley, but I think that would be a safe 100% bet that I would trade right now, 10 out of 10 times. So, but otherwise, I wouldn't put him in the lineup until you see what that team's going to do, until you see if that quarterback can actually hit anybody down the field. Do you see if he's the quarterback's top option?
If you see Dobbs, if you saw Dobbs last year playing for Tennessee, it looked really rough. Really.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's. There's a reason that the guy has hadn't really started for anybody. So even Geno Smith got to start again before anybody went and grabbed Dobbs. But so, Scott, what do you got for your last one?
My last one's going to be Michael Pittman. The rookie quarterback starting this week, Anthony Richardson. I know everybody's talking highly. I know he's got a big arm, but they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. I think we're going to see Anthony Richardson run more than pass today till he gets his feet set and ready to go and throw a little bit more. I'm scared about Michael Pittman. I didn't draft him this week or any of my leagues this year. I'm not confident in Anthony Richards. Let's see him, maybe later on in the season. Until then, man, sit Michael Pittman, find somebody else. I know he's a number one starter over there, but he might get a touchdown on there, but it's a hit and miss. Why would you want to do that? You're there to win in your fantasy league. You're not there to hope a big play happens. So sit Michael Pittman this week.
Right. No, I agree. Now, did you hear about Richardson coming in on his day off and putting in 8 hours worth of work?
That's great. I mean, I'm happy for the kid. He wants to play. He wants to do the right thing. He's committed, but he's so. Well, you ever watched that movie Major League? He's just wild, man. He's just wild.
Wild thing.
That's his nickname. He's the wild thing over there. But until he's committed, until he starts selling in a little bit, I have Anthony Richardson in one of my leagues, and as a backup, I just want to see what he does later on. If he does a great in today's game, that's awesome. But I just don't see what Jacksonville. Their defense is a little bit tougher, and I think they're going to go after Anthony Richardson today. And Michael Pittman is just not a great start to do. Not for the next 4 or 5 weeks for me.
I agree. I'm right there with you, man. I'd be worried about starting any of those guys. Like I said, and like Scott,
Before you don't
see
see
Richardson really, he had he had some shining moments in the preseason. Then he had some moments where you're like, wow. So yeah, until we start seeing that connection, until we see that team's identity, right? You're worried about the running situation, you're worried about the passing. What their identity is offensively, I'm a little worried about starting any of those guys. And like he said, stashing, Richardson's not a bad option. Maybe like a Cam Newton red zone situation that, he lurks in a lot of touchdowns, and that's good for fantasy, right?
Right.
Because
football.
But so yeah, I agree. Right there. Now, Scott,
I mean,
I like what you said about that. Now, go ahead.
No, I mean the pressure is on him today, because everything's on him because you don't have Jonathan Taylor there. Everybody's expects you to be the for the next 10 years to be the man over there. Everything he's gonna throw some interceptions today. Something's gonna happen, but he's gonna have some good stuff happening to him today too. I'm sure he's gonna break away and look good for some plays, but he's just not ready yet to me. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, when he first came in, yes, he had a shitty coach, but he didn't look good. Now he's starting to look good. I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the year. And eventually, if everything goes right for Richardson, he's going to be one of those guys eventually.
Okay. Yeah. Agreed. Now, and I kind of put Pittman in the same category as another guy, and I'm curious how you feel about him. But what about Mike Evans? What are you doing with him today?
So Mike Evans, I'm not confident in him. Even though Minnesota's defense is just not great, but I'm not confident in it. I think he's going to go more to Godwin than anything else. Mike Evans, he doesn't want to be in Tampa Bay anymore. That Tampa Bay's not offering him the money. He's getting older. I think he's going to wind up in a different team next year. Baker Mayfield, this is why he's ranked number 32 out of 32 teams because, they don't feel confident with him. I don't see the rapport, not hearing good things about him this year, even though he did great, with the Rams at the end of the year. But Baker Mayfield, this is his 14th. So what's going on? Why is he not getting? He's got the great arm. We all talk about it for the past few years. He can't settle in. He's got that happy feet. He can't settle in. He just moves around too much, and I think that's his problem. Like he has that chance, he has that small opening, but he hesitates too late to throw that ball over there. And I don't know if Mike Evans doesn't want to be there. There's a reason why, and I just don't think you should play him this week. I know you drafted him, but I don't think you should play him.
Right, and so with that, guys, don't give up, especially if you don't do well this week, because if Tampa Bay
have contention for anything
this year, which could very well happen, on through the season, he might be a guy that you see get traded that needs a receiver that is
Kansas City,
one big target away. Right, Kansas City would be an option. You look at teams like the Giants could be possibly.
Yeah,
that they could be willing to pay. Tennessee might add somebody across from D Hops. That'd be 2 old receivers, but Derrick Henry ain't getting any options at some point. So there's just a couple teams that they could definitely be willing to pay him and willing to, and same thing, he'd be willing to help them out, and it would really
Denver
help in that playoff push. Denver, yeah, agreed, yeah. He's older, but he's had 1,000-yard season every single season in the NFL. So that experience,
exactly.
you can't, he could definitely mentor and teach some of these younger guys, and again, it'd be a nice towards the end if someone goes down, you would be able to put him in that lineup and especially in the red zone, right? If you're that's worth 60 yards, you know what I'm saying? So as big as he is. why wouldn't you, right? If you trade for him and you're not getting in the red zones arena, you're not getting the scores you need, and you're pushing playoff contention, yeah, you bring him along and chunk it up. Let Mike Evans come down with it. So,
Agree.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us. We'll be back week 2, starting on Wednesdays. We'll recap on week 1, and then talk about week 2 and everything, and get things going for your fantasy football leagues for y'all. Polk, do you have anything else for us?
No, guys. So definitely check us out.
Facebook,
On YouTube. Check us out. If you like what you hear, like us, share it. We love answering questions. One thing we're going to address later in the season, DFS. We talk about all those things, and I'll be honest.
experience. So
we've been doing this podcast now for a year, but kind of hit some bumps. Life is crazy, but we're at over 10 years experience in fantasy football. And football's a passion for us, so we love it. We watch it. I watch it.
That's not
including the college games on Saturday. So I get to see Friday Night Lights. I get to see
Saturday mornings.
I get to come home and watch it Saturday evening. So we dedicate a lot of time and a lot of our
to share some of that knowledge,
some of that experience with y'all. Man, after you're right so long, right? I hate to toot my own horn and Scott's horn.
Stuff,
it just kind of feels like you should share that knowledge. So
Agreed.
We have a lot of people, a lot of our friends come to us and ask us.
I'm a friend, who do I start?
Who should I start?
Same here.
And so there's a reason they're doing that. Yeah, exactly. Wow, draft season was crazy because I was getting
they pop up on
Facebook Messenger and they're like, "Hey, how do you like my lineup?" So it's awesome, to be able to share that, and we're just hoping to share that. Got time, and you want to check us out? Spotify's a good listen. Just throw us in on your way to work. Maybe we can tell you something that you missed. Maybe you didn't get that sleeper notification. Maybe you just kind of missed out on something. So hopefully we can help you all out. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Exactly. And we're both on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm Punt Situation on there. So if you want to message me on Messenger, you definitely can. You can go to Kalen Polk on Messenger there and text him. He's great. He'll answer you pretty quick and get your lineups situated for you.
All right, guys. Hey, it's week 1. This is what we all been waiting for. So I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited. Hopefully your team wins, unless they're the Giants today or, anybody playing Miami. Anytime they play Miami or the Cowboys, unfortunately, they're going to have to lose.
You're going to lose.
But otherwise, I hope your teams win, and I hope y'all have a great none of your players get injured, and may you have the best record ever. So, but that's all I got, guys. You got anything else?
All right, guys. No, that's it, guys. And we'll see you next week on Wednesday evening. Catch us up on live on YouTube. Throw that like on YouTube for us as well. Share it, and we'll see you next week, guys. Enjoy your football.